Okay, so this is part 2 of using EXS24 to create percussive layers. So once you've got your audio track back into Logic, you're going to want to zoom in. Now you can do this with Command and the arrows, or you can drag the track down. And then we're going to need to use the scissors tool. And if you use it on that right hand selection, you have to hold Command to then use the tool. And we want to chop as close as we can to the transients of the sound, so that they start immediately when we press a key on the sampler. And it's also good practice to chop out any silence in between. Just keeps it all nice and tidy. So I'm going to fast forward the video a little bit here, and you can see how I work through each sample, removing the silence in between and chopping them, and sometimes then further editing them by dragging the edge of the region in to get it even closer to the start of the transient. So at this point, you should pause the video, get yourself into Logic and do this with your audio file. And then once you've got every single one of them chopped up, this is where we can rearrange them to get them in a sensible order for the sampler. So if you've got quite a lot of sounds that are like bassy, you might want to group them together. Or if you've got some that sound like hi-hats, maybe group them together. Because the order that they are in the arrangement window, that's the order they're going to be in the sampler. Okay, so pause the video again here, get yourself back into Logic, and rearrange your samples into an order that you think is sensible. Okay, so another thing you may need to do is change the volume of some of the individual samples. We can do this at the top part of the track inspector, where it says region, then you get a gain control. Inherently, some of your sounds are going to be louder than others, so if some are really, really loud, maybe just turn them down. Okay, so pause the video again, and change the volume on your samples. So now we're going to transfer these to the EXS24. It's very simple. All you need to do is highlight everything. You may need to zoom in a little touch to right-click on one of the samples, go down to Convert, and convert to a new sampler track. Now, one thing you need to do is change the trigger note range to start at C1, and you then make sure it's on regions. Okay. And that will create a new sampler instrument. You can delete that MIDI region. If I then create a new MIDI region, you'll see that starting from the note C1, my samples will appear. Quite enjoy that pop sound. We're then going to open up the EXS24 in the track inspector, go to the edit button at the top right hand corner, click on one of the sample's names, press Command and A to highlight everything, and then we're going to activate that one shot button. So that means that if a sample is 5 seconds long, you don't need to hold the key down for 5 seconds. One press of it will play the full sample. So such as that sound. I just need to press it once and it plays the full sample. Okay, so you should get some MIDI material sequenced in, and I've just clicked this in. And I'm then going to change the velocities using the velocity slider at the left-hand side. This makes each individual note quieter or louder. You can also do this using the velocity tool. This helps to create a bit of groove within the material, so it changes the volumes even further. And I'm going to go up to the EQ section, and I'm going to add a high-pass filter from about 200 Hz. This is to clear up all that low bass end and the sub end to make room for the kick and the bass in your track. Because if I then go ahead and add a drummer track, the kick of the drums is then going to punch through and not be clouded by what we've recorded there. So you should be able to hear now, when I'm changing between, just how useful that is to thicken out your drum beats and add a bit more interest into your tracks.